Greetings everyone, welcome back to Blade Bias, and today we will be checking out my updated thoughts on the wonderful, spoilers, Kite AL 1.5 from LDY, the update to the very well-loved original Kite AL, which itself was an update to the incredibly good deal that was the original Kite. And in this video, my main question when I first opened the Kite AL was, is it better? Is this a balisong that is better than its predecessor was? Let's find out. Before I begin, this balisong was sent for free by LDY for the purpose of these videos, but any and all opinions presented are my own. I have no financial affiliation with LDY. Let's take a look at the unboxing experience. Excellent as ever. At least, I don't know if everyone gets this, but I got the hard case, you got the little NFC tag, a bunch of extra hardware, some really cool looking bandages, their wonderful driver, and a really generously sized microfiber cloth. Pretty much everything you would need, minus oil, I guess, for your balisong when you're first starting out, making the Kite AL a great choice for a beginner balisong. And they actually conveniently have a comparison between all of the different versions in terms of specs on their website. And you can see really that the main change here, which they advertised before as a more neutral balance, was a weight drop to the tune of about 0.2 ounces. It went from around 4.0, 4.1 ounces in the original Kite AL, and now kind of hovers around that 3.8, kind of 3.79 ounces range. And that manifests itself really, really well. The original Kite AL was a balisong that I did quite enjoy the first probably week or so that I flipped it. And don't get me wrong, it's a great balisong. It's high quality, one of the most premium sub-$100 balisongs that I think I've ever felt. It's weighty, it feels dense, it's well made. The G10 feels good, but the balance just never really truly won me over after that first impressions video. It is extraordinarily, maybe not extraordinarily, but it's very handle biased. There's a lot of weight in these handles that's causing a lot of momentum. It makes it feel heavier than it is. It's difficult to get it going in other directions because there's a lot of momentum that you have to stop and restart again. It's not the most agile balisong. Now granted, its extra handle bias does make it really good for beginner tricks. Things like rollovers and chaplains are an absolute dream on the Kite AL V1. But my biggest thing is fans and overall general balance rather than it just being good at handle bias stuff or just being good at blade bias stuff. I like when both exist. So this really excelled at, rollovers and things like that, but fanning, it just kind of died. It feels like there's just too much weight in the handles for that blade to deal with. Now, maybe the live blade fixes this. There was a 2-gram difference between the trainer and the live blade, and that still exists on the 1.5. The 1.5 live blade, as tested here today, is 108 grams, and the trainer is 106 grams. Do the conversions as you will. All I can tell you is that the 108 grams is kind of around 3.8 ounces. But I was really excited when I first got this to feel that more neutral balance, which seems like they've reduced a lot of the weight from the handle specifically to achieve that. And it is glorious. This thing is so much better balanced. And I know it's not an exact one-to-one since I don't have a trainer to compare against a trainer, but I can really feel that weight difference. This no longer feels like there's lead in the end of the handles. It feels like an actually properly balanced balisong, and I think it is all of the better for it. This really reminds me and takes me back to the days of the Orion V1 versus the 1.5. You had the V1, which kind of had a more handle bias signature to it. There was a lot of weight in the end of the handles that those spacers provided. And then they released the 1.5, which reduced some of that weight and really just made the flipping experience that much better. And then went ahead and made the Orion S, which made the flipping experience even better. So not only do I actually really love flipping the kite now, whereas before it wasn't really my favorite thing in the world, but I'm super excited to see them perhaps maybe do like a Kite ALS or something like that. Another version of it that kind of changes it just a little bit more, even if it's only a limited time thing. I wish it wouldn't be, but I feel like we kind of have to accept that LDY is just going to be doing that at this point. And hopefully the Kite AL 1.5 isn't like a limited time thing. I think they've said that they plan on having this regularly in stock along with the Orion and the new Orion V2. But I really like it. It's just so much more neutral, and it's more neutral without sacrificing any of the performance that the original had, because removing some of that handle bias didn't make the chaplains worse. It didn't make the rollovers worse. Sure, they're not as like absolutely glued to your finger as this was, but now it's more in line with any other reasonably not as handle biased balisong. Like, they're not absolutely 100% gravitized to your finger, but it can actually fan, and it's not flying off your fingers at every conceivable possible moment. I think this was a really, really good step in the right direction for the Kite AL. And there's a lot of things to like about this thing specifically. I do really like the hollowed out parts in the handles, which I think, yeah, that's the majority of the change here, I believe, that we're feeling in the handles. Because if you look on the inside of the handles here, the original was kind of just a big block. There was a little bit of a relief here that you could see, but it's just a big slab of aluminum. This one, kind of reminiscent of something like the Seraph, hopefully you guys can see this, there's pockets milled out in there. So it really does reduce some of that kind of really dense handle weight feeling, and maybe makes it feel a tiny bit less premium in the process, but everything else from the finish on the metal to the G10 feels just as good as it did in the original V1. And I have to really, really give them credit for that, because this thing flips so much better now. They've fixed the Kite AL completely to the point where I would actually throw it in my recommendations document, which maybe I'll do. It's gonna take a week or two for me to update it. I'm also gonna wait for the Orion V2 to like fully come out and see how that ends up. But this will actually probably be a solid recommendation if you're someone who maybe doesn't like the Orion as much, because it doesn't feel like the Orion. This definitely is a more weighty feeling experience, a little bit more weight in the handles, I would say. If you guys want something like a direct comparison, you can let me know. And the other big change, which I know people are going to be yelling at me about, is the supposed weight system in the handles. So I guess they introduce some sort of pin system so you can add or remove a little bit of weight inside the handles. I have not messed with that at all on this thing. I've been really enjoying the way that they send it stock. So I will do that in the future. It will be in a separate video. It won't be in this video, but just know that I haven't tested it yet. I'm sure it's good, but I really like how they sent it out as is. I think it flips really well. It just makes me like the Kite AL so much more. And really, I mean, in my opinion, fixes the Kite AL, because the original Kite AL, maybe not while a broken balisong, was one that I didn't enjoy flipping all of that much, other than the fact that it just really did feel super premium for that price. This keeps a little bit of that premium feel and sacrifices a tiny bit of it for that better flipping performance, and I think it is all the better for it. Pretty much everything else that you could say about the Kite AL is the same or better here, most notably the jimping. Maybe this is just mine, but the jimping feels sharper and more grippy, which I really do enjoy, especially since that jimping does stick out from the sides of the G10 handle, so there's actually something for your fingers to grab onto. It's just been a great balisong. And I do believe that maybe the trainer blade would be, you know, a tiny bit more handle bias, and I wouldn't like it as much. LDY as a whole seems to just, at least in my preferences, make better live blades. Their live blades usually flip better to me. But yeah, I really like the Kite AL 1.5. I think it was a slam dunk in the right direction. And I'm excited to see if and when they update it even more. Not to say that I'm like ready for the next update yet. I think this will be a great thing to for people to pick up, but I really do like it. And this anodization is super cool. Got my like kind of Christmas themed Kite AL. It is an excellent pickup for, what is this, $85? I think it's $85. $75 for the trainer, $85 for the live blade. That's just a great deal. No, wait. Hold on. Yeah, $75 for the trainer, $85 for the live blade. I think that's just a great deal. They've released a new color, which is $5 more expensive, it seems like. But yeah, I think this is an upgrade in pretty much every single way. They've removed some weight where it needed to be removed, kept the things that were good about it, slightly improved some things. I really like it. So the Kite AL is an absolute thumbs up recommendation for me if you're looking for something like this. You know, the G10 lovers out there, you've got like a really, really good live blade now for sub $100. People who didn't like the Orion, this will probably be a great alternative for you. And people looking to get their first live blade now have some great choices between this, between the Orion, between even like some false live blades like the Canyon and the Impulse. There's some great things out there for you live blade lovers in the sub $100 price point. And it's just been really amazing to see. Huge thank you to LDY for sending this thing out. I really do appreciate it. And huge thank you to you guys for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Later.